Hey guys, it's Roxanne from RoxanneLynch.com. Hey, how's it going tonight? It's like I was telling Bob, my husband, what I wanted to talk about tonight in tonight's video, and he says, "You're going to talk about this? You're going to talk about complainers, you're going to talk about venters, and you're going to talk about ask holes?" And it's like, I said, "Yeah, babe, I got to talk about this tonight." So when you guys are popping in, I know I've been picking some doozy of ideas for conversations in the evenings, but you know what? I thought this one has been kind of been going around in my head for a little while. So I thought, why not just talk about something, that is meaningful to me? And I know that this is meaningful to other people. I know that I am not the only woman out there that, women come to and they want to vent or they want to complain, or they are going to be an ask hole. This is going to be it's going to be a fabulously fun topic, okay? So, because you guys know that this is what I love to do. I love to talk about, sometimes I talk about business stuff, within network marketing. I give tips and tricks and solutions for prospecting and follow up and where to find your target market, and how to promote positivity, using creative ways, using attraction marketing to build our beloved businesses on Facebook. And sometimes we want to talk about real stuff, life stuff, mindset stuff, heart stuff, feely stuff, because we're women and we're touchy-feely women. So let's talk about, people that need to vent, people that, are chronic complainers, and people that just are assholes, okay? So whether you're within my beloved business and team within social retail or your own fabulous company out there, this is what I love to do. I know that there's enough success and sunshine within this beautiful industry that we call network marketing for all of us, okay? So let's pop into this. I want to share a short story to get started and kind of lay some of the groundwork, because you guys know that I am a cheerleader. I have discovered that is my superpower. And I love to help other women. I love to be a sounding board. I love to help. I love to support. I love to cheer and empower and encourage and enlighten. And I'm very creative. Like, my mind, when a woman speaks to me about something going on within her hopes or her dreams or her wishes or her past struggles or trial or tribulation, like, my brain just goes dooka 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 dooka, and all these different things start popping into my head. It's what I love to do. It's just in me. Between my blue-yellow personality with just a little smattering of red, when a mama bear has to come up. So why is this really important to talk about? Knowing that if that's my history, and part of my history is I always used to feel sick when I was around grumpy people, and I never really connected the dots. Maybe you guys can relate, and if you do, mash those emoticons. That I remember being in family situations where there was a lot of negativity. Like, they would tell the same negative kayaying story almost every time those same people got together. It was like they had to reminisce about the negativity, who said what and when, and they talked about it like it happened yesterday, but it happened 10 years ago, okay? And I never really understood, because you're a kid and you're just kind of exposed to it. But I remember kind of feeling sleepy, or I would get headaches, or I would feel uncomfortable, and I would kind of leave the conversation. As kids want to hang around the table when the adults are talking, right? They want to be included. But being around that kind of negativity and that drama and that negative energy sucking of that same complaining without providing that answer and that solution to what might become the sunny side of life, I've discovered that it drains me emotionally, okay? So I think that would be my very first tip for you guys to think about when a woman comes to you, or a guy, and they come to you and they that they want to talk, okay? Because there's three people out there in the world. Like I said, there's the venters, okay? There's the complainers, and there's the ask holes, okay? And I'm gonna dig into this a little bit. So the very first thing that we can discover is, what type of person are they? What do they need? What are they looking for from you? Okay, because there's different things that, if we know this, we think about this, that we can show up to the table and give them, or deflect or defer what they're going to need. Okay, so the very first thing when we're talking about venters is that every human being needs a safe sounding board and an ear to vent, okay? They just need that safe place to vent. And I have a lot of venters, okay? Within this network marketing industry, sometimes people get frustrated. Sometimes people, will see a behavior of another person and they need to vent, okay? We always vent upwards. So whether, you're praying and you're venting upwards to him, or you're praying or like venting to your upline or to a parent or to another friend who has a safe sounding board ear, the thing is that it's actually healthy to vent, okay? It's healthy to vent. That releases those stresses, because sometimes we just need to tell somebody what's going on in our world and let it go. Okay, we can release it. Okay, that friend knows that they're just that sounding board. They're going to take it and they're going to bounce it off. They're not going to burden themselves with that negative energy. They're not going to burden themselves with your venting, okay? Because it's just energy. It needs to be let out. So instead of that human being going out and shouting it to the forest and screaming it to the trees, they've decided that you've been there for them before. They trust in you. They believe in you. They know that what they're telling you is safe. And, that's a human need. We need to have that safe sounding board, okay? So you, being that person, remember that the word listen, okay, this is pretty magical, okay? So the very first thing is remember it clears energy. So venting is a good thing. But to be the person being vented to, you have to know that that's just part of your role, to be that sounding board and bounce it off of you. So a good person that is the accepting of the venting going on is that they listen, okay? The thing is, all they need is an ear. They need you, and all the things that we do when we're nodding our head, because we're we're sympathizing, we're validating what they have to say, we're nodding our head, and we're silent, okay? Actually, it's a pretty cool thing that the word listen, if you mix up the letters, says the word silent, spells it out for us, okay? So listening means that we're silent, okay? So venting is a good thing. So if a woman believes in you enough and trusts in you enough to actually say, Roxanne, I just need to vent. I need to B-I-T, I need to have a little moment, that it's okay. So I know my job. So therefore it's easy for me to be that sounding board for that person that just needs to release it to the world. Because right now up here in Alberta, it was too bloody bejesus cold to go outside and shout it out to the moon or to the trees or to the forest to vent, okay? So that's the very first thing, venting. It's actually productive and it clears those negative energies and it allows that person to go, okay, I feel so much better. Now I can get back to my day, okay? So that's what we do, okay, as venters. The thing with complainers, okay, this one's a little interesting. So when it comes to chronic complainers, people that that's just their default mode, and we know that there's people out there. It doesn't, your house. This could be a beautifully full cup of water here in my mason jar glass, but a complainer is going to say, well, that's got a chipped lip. It's got a chipped edge and, it's too thick, that's not a classy glass. They're going to find something about anything in the world to complain about, So it's minus 44 out there the other day in the morning, in a couple weeks, or a couple months, it's going to be in the high 20s and they're going to complain about that. So the thing is with complainers, they have to recognize that they're looking for validation, okay? They're looking for that ability to be there and be heard, but you have to remember that the thing is, don't offer complainers help, okay? Okay, because you know what, you're gonna get sucked into this, because they you can ask what's gonna happen, but you know that you have to set some boundaries, and you never offer any help. And the reason why you have to set boundaries, and sometimes they're time boundaries, so if a person starts coming to you and they're complaining, have a look at the clock real quick. If it's 10 to the hour, then you can say, hey, yeah, sure, I got a few minutes to chat, but I have an appointment, at this time. Or, you have to go do something. So you've set some boundaries. So, that is really, really important that you actually know when that time is going to be up. And when it comes to offering help, you have to remember when you're offering help, and for me, this was a hard lesson to learn because I am a helper. I love to help. It's my default setting is to be able to support, uplift, and empower. Like you guys know, that's my jam. But when I offer a help to a person, and that person does, they might listen. But it's going to be you doing all the work. It's going to be you doing all the pointing and, oh, grab this resource, or then, oh, go to that file, or go to talk to that person next. It's you doing the work. It's you being mentally tied up away from your day, away from your life, away from your marriage, away from your kids, or away from our businesses. And the thing is, it's not going to stick because it's not their idea. Okay, think about this. How many times have using a family example for mine, I remember that I had a family member that says, my husband keeps on telling me that I have to quit smoking. And, she would quit and then she would restart, and she would quit and then she would restart. I mean, we know that smoking's not good for us, but, he was helping her and he was pointing her in their directions and telling her what support she needed and the patches and the hypnosis, and go talk, but it wasn't her idea. And he was doing all the work. And it didn't work, right? Because it's not her idea. It didn't come from a place of reason for herself, okay? So when things go wrong within that scenario, they're going to be pointing their fingers at you, because this was your brilliant idea. This is what you thought, and I did it, and it still didn't turn out, You get what I'm talking about? Mash those emoticons. Say yes if that makes some sense, okay? So listen. You can listen for a period of time, but don't take on their burden. Don't take on their burden emotionally. Don't take on their burden, because it's going to weigh you down and it's going to weigh down your energy. And when we are down in our energy and our enthusiasm and feeling empowered and strong, it has that ripple effect throughout the whole rest of the day and throughout other conversations. And you know what? We're the light bringers. We are bringers of light and hope and beauty to women's world. So, you can't be taking all those burdens in. Okay. So, that's, I really wanted to make sure that you shared that. Okay. So last but not least, but ask holes. Okay. We get these all the time too, right? Would you guys agree? We have women that are in our lives and we love them dearly. And they're always asking us what to do, and they come to us with, heart in hand, and they'll ask you a gazillion questions. Maybe it could be about our businesses. It could be about a product or an ingredient. It could be about, a travel destination. It could be about a food plan. It could be about a skincare regime. They're going to ask you a gazillion questions, and they're still going to do what they want to do. So, you really have to do that sifting and sorting and recognize that if you got burned one time by that person, recognize that fact. Maybe provide them some where you can point them to the direction where they can do their own research. So your time and energy is not being tied up, because along with time and energy comes a lot of women's hearts, okay? And when our hearts get in the game, then it hurts. And when a woman comes to me over and over again, complaining about their situation or complaining about their health or complaining about their financial situation, and I have suggested options, but they're never the right options. So now I just give them the tools and then they can figure it out, because we just don't got time for that. Our hearts don't have time for that. Our mind doesn't have time for that. Does that make some sense, you guys? So, these are just some of the things that were bouncing around in my head. These are like my personal, these are like, this isn't something that, I want to make sure that I put that disclaimer out there that, these are our personal experiences of mine, personal teachings and trainings and things that I've picked up. But there's a couple questions we can ask. Okay. So there's smart questions that we can ask if they're in that vent mode and they ask you for help. If someone actually asks me for my help and they're not an asshole, then I will obviously help them. But my way of helping is to actually ask deeper questions, because you know what? Most people have the answer in them. They have got something within them that they've been thinking about, and maybe they're looking for reassurance, maybe they're looking for validation, maybe they're looking for understanding. But our human brain is absolutely amazing. If we ask the right questions and then we zip our lips and allow that person to let those little wires start rambling around in our brains, we can pull the right information that we need to make the right decisions for ourselves, okay? Because sometimes we know what we have to do, but we don't want to do it. We're looking for a shortcut, or we're looking for an easier way. I get that all the time within network marketing. People think that there has to be a little bit of a shortcut. I can give them the most direct route, but if their patterns and habits of how they run their day on Facebook and social media are this way, it's going to take them longer. And if they're an asshole, okay? So some questions that I ask women, and you guys can, definitely catch, if you caught this in the middle, might want to catch the replay. Okay, so a question that I love asking them is like, what do you think that you can do to solve the problem? Okay, that puts the onus back on them. What do you think that you can do to solve the problem? Because it puts that responsibility back on them, but it indicates that I'm listening to them. And I'm thinking about things, but I don't want to come up with all the solutions, because then I'm doing all the work and then I get all the blame, right? So we have to encourage them. And it's like, so, that's part of the reasons why I put down that, I always talk about the good and the bad and the ugly list that my dad taught me. What do you like about a situation? What don't you like about a situation? Write out all the good stuff, write out all the bad stuff, write out all the different ideas, okay? So that is one of the things, is like, what do you think you can do to solve the problem? The second thing is that I encourage them to think about, I'll ask them, it's like, well, okay, so tell me who is the smartest person that you can think of right now? Maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was a mentor, maybe it's God, maybe it's, someone that they deeply admire and respect. And I'll say, well, if you were if that is them, what do you think they would do? Because that, I love that idea, and the reason why is because it takes the pressure off of themselves. It pulls them back from their struggle right here and now, and it allows them to think outside the box. And it's like this third party aspect starts speaking in their mind. It's like, well, then I could do this. If I was that person, I would be doing it this way. And all of a sudden you feel that power coming from within them, and all of a sudden the solutions just start rolling out. So the last questions that I want to give you guys tonight, and I'm just wrapping it up now, so is remembering that we're encouraging them to remember that we're focusing on the future. Whether they're a complainer, whether they're a venter, or whether they're an asshole, whatever happened yesterday, it doesn't matter anymore. It's done. Yesterday is done. Today is the new day. And you know what? Tomorrow doesn't care what you're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow does it, that's something unknown. Today is the day that really matters within ourselves, of our decision making, of our thinking. We can plan all we want, to do this tomorrow, but tomorrow's going to come, and is it going to get done, or is it not going to get done? So we have to remember that we have to be focusing on the activities and the actions of the here and the now, looking forward to the tomorrow and the brighter promises of it, but the activities and the actions have to begin today, okay? All right, so, and ask them what they really want to happen. I think this is a really big one for tip number 3, I think we're at, is like, ask them what they really want to happen. So then it allows them to start thinking about, what are their expected results of this, or what are their anticipated expectations that are going to unfold before them, okay? Because really, we can be that woman, we can be that heart, we can be there to serve and help them, but ultimately that has to come from within them. And we can only empower and enlighten and encourage so much, and then they have to pick up that baton. They have to pick up the baton, and then they have to run with it, okay? Coming back for a little bit of support or guidance is one thing, and like I said, understanding that what type of person are they? Are they a venter? And they just need to, de-stress and release that negative energy or those negative conversations? Are they a chronic complainer that is going to, suck up your energy and your time? Or are they going to asshole that, isn't going to be doing what you suggest or recommend anyway, because it wasn't their idea to begin with? Okay, so those are my thoughts and ideas for tonight. I know it's kind of a weird subject, but I got some weird and crazy things going on within my business, and so there's a lot of fresh thoughts coming to my head, okay? So if you guys don't know what the heck I really do within network marketing, I do have a beautiful business and an amazing team within social retail. If you don't know what the heck that is, just send me a message. I promise, I'm not going to bombard your inbox or send you funnels or, send you hyperlinks, okay? I'm a real person with a real heart, and I'm just here to serve, okay? You guys have a fabulous evening. I'll see you guys all tomorrow on the sunny side of life. Bye, guys.